beyond. Twin Towers, which are being built in the Malaysian capital of Kuala Lumpur, will become the world's tallest reinforced concrete structures when completed. These Twin Towers, which have 6 basements and 88 stories, will rise 446 meters above street level. They are being built by 2 joint ventures. Tower 1 is being built by Japan's Sambasivam and J.A. Jones of America. Tower 2 is being built by Samsung and Kukdong of Korea and Jasatera of Malaysia. At the top of the 88th floor of each tower, a 65-meter-tall, 120-ton stainless steel pinnacle will be erected that will make the Petronas Twin Towers the tallest buildings in the world. Since this 65-meter-tall pinnacle has to be erected with limited equipment in place, almost 400 meters above the ground, it cannot be set up all at once. Rather, it has to be completed using a method in which it is divided into 10 blocks, assembled in sections on the ground that are lifted to the 84th floor, which are then gradually pulled up to the 88th floor. Let's now take a detailed look at the erection procedure. A temporary opening will be left in a portion of the slab for the purpose of raising the divided mass blocks after they have been lifted and assembled. A temporary stage, rails, and a flat car will be installed. Erection work begins with the task of installing the steel frame at the top of the 88th floor that will support the pinnacle. Understand the erection procedure, we will show it by slicing off a section of the building. First, the lifting beams, which are necessary when raising the assembled pinnacle, are installed. When the individual parts of the pinnacle that have been fabricated in a factory are transported to the site, they are partially assembled on the ground into divided blocks. The first block assembled on the ground is lifted up by the tower frame and is placed directly on the designated place on the 84th floor, which is the place the pinnacle raising will begin. After the second block is placed on top of the first block and temporarily assembled using the same procedure, the 4 fins that are the main parts of the pinnacle mass are joined together through on-site welding. After the welding is completed, grinding and surface polishing are carried out, and the side panels that have already been lifted and are waiting are assembled. After one such cycle of work is completed, the same cycle is repeated in turn from the 3rd block until the 6th block. The spire ball are erected with the tower crane. 6 blocks of the mast are assembled in this manner, the ring ball that will be attached to the first block is temporarily assembled in advance on the apex of the steel frame. Because the total weight of the ring ball is about 24 tons, it is lifted up with the tower crane after being divided into 3 pieces and partially assembled on the ground. Hydraulic jacks and strands, which will pull up the mast, are installed at the steel frame. The first stage raising is carried out and the assembled mast is pulled up about 6 meters. The hydraulic jacks pull up heavy objects using the following principle. The strands are forced to move in one direction through the repeated motion of the mechanism, which is made up of pistons and wedges. Hydraulic jacks with a capacity matching that of the weight of the object to be lifted are used. While the first stage raising is in progress, the 7th block is lifted up with the tower crane and placed on the flat car prepared on the temporary stage. When the first stage raising is completed, the 7th block that has been loaded onto the flat car is pulled into the center of the building. The mast that is already raised is lowered slightly and welding between the upper and lower fins is carried out. When this single cycle of construction process is totally completed, the second stage raising is carried out. Using this same process, the 8th block of the mast is assembled and the third stage raising is carried out. In turn, the 9th block of the mast is assembled and the 4th stage raising is carried out. The 10th block, which corresponds to the base of the pinnacle, is lifted up and assembled. At this time, the connection hub that is the base structure for supporting the pinnacle and the temporary lifting beam used when pulling up the pinnacle are simultaneously lifted onto the stage and moved towards the center. Using the same method previously described, the final welding is carried out and the side panels are attached. The assembly of the mast is completed. The lifting beam attached to the first block is disjoined, and the strands are moved and reinstalled in the lifting beam attached to the bottom of the 10th block. While the shifting of the lift point is in progress, the side panels are installed in the first block. 5 stages of raising are carried out until the mast arrives at the position where it will be joined with the ring ball that has been temporarily installed at the apex of the steel frame. The mast and the ring ball are then joined together. When this is done, the assembly of the pinnacle is completed. And then, when the final raising is carried out, the entire pinnacle arrives at its final position. And the joining together of the steel frame and the connection hub that will bear the entire vertical load of the pinnacle is carried out. By doing this, the erection of the pinnacle is completely finished. Following this, the slab that was left open for the raising operation is closed off, and the temporary items, the lifting beams, jacks, rail, and temporary stage are dismantled.